So why does rigorous honesty matter? Number one, it promotes awareness of our actions. Number two, it fosters intimate human connections. Number three, it leads to a truthful biography, which holds us accountable to ourselves. So we're going to look at those three things on the subject of awareness. So the defense mechanism of denial can occur when there's a disconnect happening between the brain's reward pathways and higher cortical regions. So this we know that this happens in addiction, right? So in the addiction, the reward pathways are engaged and they're firing, but there's a dissociation of that part of the brain from the higher cortical regions, where things like self-awareness live. Now, does that mean that the addict literally doesn't know they're doing it? No, doesn't mean that. But the higher level functions of actual self-reflection that will then integrate it into their autobiography, which we'll talk about in a minute, those aren't firing. Okay. And so there really is a neurobiological reality to this idea of denial and being in denial, that I know it's happening, but I don't know it's happening. There's a dissociation. I know it's happening in one part of my brain. I don't know it's happening in another part of my brain. There was a study in which there was this computerized dice game, and participants would win points for certain roles. Okay. But they self-reported the roles, but they didn't know that the researchers actually knew what was going on. So they could lie, but not know that they were lying. And so what happened was, participants reported winning 68% of the time, but the participants knew that mathematically they really could have only won 50% of the time. So there was an 18% gap, right? 18% more winning than what was reported. They did the same thing, but while participants were playing the game, they actually did direct stimulation to the prefrontal cortex, and the amount of lying went down by half. Now, the participants had no idea. This couldn't be attributed to anything. Oh, now they're on to me, any of that. They had no idea. Lying went down by half. By half. No instruction, not a different set of values in the participants, anything. The only difference is a little extra stimulation to the prefrontal cortex. Now, here's why this is important. So that means you stimulate the prefrontal cortex, lying goes down, truth-telling goes up. Can it work the other way? Can it go both ways? Neurobiologically, there's every reason to believe it can. So I can't stimulate my prefrontal cortex by plugging in an electrode, but you know what I could do is tell the truth when I have the impulse to lie. And when I have the impulse to lie and I tell the truth, it should strengthen my prefrontal cortex. It's exercising a muscle. It's building a new neural pathway, right? It's changing, right? So the problem is neurons that fire together wire together, and these deceptive pathways have been firing for a long time. The problem is neurons that fire together wire together. The solution is neurons that fire together wire together. But with intention, effort, and focus, I've got to do the new thing and strengthen the prefrontal cortex. Okay, I've got to tell the truth. I've got to tell the truth. And every time I tell the truth, I strengthen my ability to tell the truth the next time. And what that might look like at first is correcting a lie, because the lie could happen so quickly because the deeper part of my brain where it originates is much faster than the prefrontal cortex. So the lie could come out, but then I see that I've lied. Now I need to tell the truth. So that there's awareness for you.